Welcome to AC 24/7. I'm Aaron Dean. Described as a charismatic yet divisive religious leader, Pat Robertson, the founder of the Christian Broadcast Network, has died, and he died during Pride Month. Robertson started CBN in 1961, hosting the 700 Club talk show, which grew out of a telethon where he asked 700 viewers for $10 a month. His guests included multiple U.S. presidents, and he's likely going to be remembered as a controversial figure, once claiming that the September 11th terror attacks were caused by God, who was angered by federal courts, porn, abortion rights, and church-state separation. He also called Islam a violent religion. He warned a Pennsylvania town to be prepared for a natural disaster because of a school board fight over the teaching of, quote, intelligent design over evolution. In 1998, he warned Orlando to watch out for hurricanes after allowing the annual, quote, Gay Days event. Then in 2014, he warned that towels in Kenya could transmit AIDS. CBN later issued a correction. Robertson enterprises included Regent University, the American Center for Law and Justice, and Operation Blessing. Pat Robertson was 93 years old. Redmond, Oregon police are looking for the person or persons responsible for leaving a dead raccoon outside the law office of the city mayor. Warning, this video contains material that some viewers might find disturbing due to its graphic nature. The raccoon was accompanied by a racist message directed at City Council member Clifford Evelyn. He was the first black person elected to his office. Evelyn responded by saying, "It is a hate crime, plain and simple." In a statement, the city's mayor said that he is saddened by the incident, adding, "It doesn't represent the, quote, heart of our community." Major cities across the U.S. are dealing with hazardous air quality conditions this week as smoke from Canada's overactive fire season gets pushed south. New York City recorded the worst air quality in the world. Now, the blanket of smoke-filled air is expected to cause major problems for those in the DMV area.
Very, very scary, just walking down the street and feeling like I'm going to have an asthma attack. I feel that's how bad the air quality is.
Millions of people across the eastern half of the U.S. are under air quality alerts as smoke from the wildfires in Canada blankets U.S. cities.
It feels like I'm at a campfire that I don't want to be at, and there's no s'mores.
Smoke-filled skies are impacting areas from Boston to New York and Washington, D.C., and as far west as Minnesota and as far south as the Carolinas. Areas surrounding Washington, D.C. are expected to see the worst air quality beginning Thursday morning. On Wednesday, the famous Manhattan skyline resembled something out of an apocalyptic movie, with the sun almost completely blotted out.
This is the worst air quality we've experienced in over 20 years. This is hard to breathe right now.
The air quality in the area was recorded as the worst in the world Wednesday, with people urged to stay indoors or mask outside. School activities and professional sporting events around the Northeast were canceled.
Simply stay indoors. Outdoors is dangerous in just about every part of our state, not just vulnerable communities, but literally everyone.
In Washington, I'm Gloria Pasmino reporting.
And according to a new report from ESG Book, most big companies are either expected to add to global warming or are not revealing data on their greenhouse gas emissions. Researchers also say that less than 25% of those corporations are following the Paris Agreement, which focuses on lowering global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius higher than pre-industrial levels. The World Meteorological Organization released a report last month that said it's more than likely Earth's temperature will increase 1.5 degrees at least once within the next 5 years. Mike Pence has become the first former vice president to directly challenge the president who picked him as his running mate. He cast himself as an experienced traditional conservative while hitting former President Trump on immigration, Putin, and his actions before the Capitol insurrection.
Former Vice President Mike Pence launching his campaign for president in Iowa, taking questions and shaking hands with voters at a CNN town hall on his 64th birthday.
It's one for the books.
Right out of the gate, Pence is disputing former President Donald Trump's claims he could have overturned the results of the 2020 election.
I felt that he was asking me to choose between him and the Constitution. I chose the Constitution, and I always will. President Trump was wrong then, he's wrong now.
The relationship between Trump and Pence fell apart on January 6th when rioters stormed the Capitol calling for Pence's execution. Trump says he would consider pardoning some of the rioters. Pence disagrees.
I have no interest or no intention of pardoning those that assaulted police officers or vandalized our Capitol.
Pence had this to say about roughly a dozen number of classified documents he found at his residence in Indiana in January.
I immediately informed the Department of Justice, and I'm grateful, after our full cooperation, that they concluded that it was an innocent mistake.
But stopped short of saying Trump should be indicted by the special counsel for his alleged mishandling of classified documents.
This kind of action by the Department of Justice, I think, would only fuel further division in the country. And let me also say, I think it would also send a terrible message to the wider world.
The former vice president also differentiated himself from Trump on foreign policy.
When Vladimir Putin rolled into Ukraine, the former president called him a genius. I know the difference between a genius and a war criminal. And I know who needs to win in the war in Ukraine, and it's the people fighting for their freedom.
Pence also signaling to conservative voters that he is their candidate.
Well, I strongly support state legislation, including as we did in Indiana, that bans all gender transition chemical or surgical procedures for kids under the age of 18.
Pence joins a growing field for the Republican nomination, including North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum, and former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie launched another bid for the White House, making the cornerstone of his campaign rebuking Trump. Trump, in response, posted this video mocking Christie after the announcement.
It just renewed in my own mind what a child he is. He's a baby. Whenever you want to criticize him, in any way, that's the way he responds.
The Biden White House's federal student loan forgiveness program is moving forward. However, the bill still faces legal challenges, opposition from Republicans, and even some moderate Democrats. John Lawrence reports.
A congressional effort to squash President Joe Biden's student loan forgiveness program dies a quick death.
He's continued to pursue new government spending, from his nearly $1 trillion student loan giveaway to a budget that in a few short years would have us spending $10 trillion annually.
The bill offers to forgive up to $20,000 in debt for students who went to college on Pell Grants and $10,000 for those without, if specific requirements are met.
Nearly 90% of those relief dollars go to people making less than $75,000 a year.
Both chambers of Congress passed a bill that would have halted Biden's program, but the president vetoed the legislation Wednesday, saying he, quote, won't back down from helping hardworking folks.
Some of the same members of Congress who supported this bill voted for huge tax cuts for corporations and the wealthy as well. But when it comes to hardworking Americans trying to get ahead, dealing with the student debt relief, that's where they drew the line.
Critics say the proposal is financially unfair.
What President Biden is doing is transferring those student loans and those student loan debt onto the backs of hardworking Iowans and others.
The legality of the loan forgiveness program is in the hands of the Supreme Court. The justices are expected to issue a decision on it this summer. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Thank you for joining us for AC 24/7. For more, go to theadvocatechannel.com and subscribe on our YouTube page. For AC 24/7, I am Aaron Dean.